Hello everybody, and welcome to a Core Set 2020 draft here on the channel. Before I dive in, I do want to remind you that if you enjoy this video and enjoy my content, be sure to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel to join our community and help me continue to produce more videos. It really does help me out a ton, and I truly appreciate it. Also, leave a comment in the comment section down below if you do have any questions, because I love interacting with you guys. I love answering questions, and I will be happy to answer any questions you may have. If you would like to support the channel, you can do so by using the affiliate link in the description and in the pinned comment down below. When you are buying cards, it is a link to TCG Player's store, and by using that link, you are giving back to the channel and helping me continue to produce content. If you would like to directly support the channel, you can do so via the Patreon. Patreon.com/NicolaiBolas is a great way to help me continue making videos. So, without further ado, let's dive into the ranked draft. We open this pack up, and the immediate cards that come to mind are Chandra's Outrage, and then a couple of the uncommons like Empyrean Eagle. Chandra's Outrage is just a fantastic removal spell. It kills almost all of the threats you care about that cost like even up to 5 mana. It doesn't quite kill a Mammoth Spider, but it kills basically all of the other cards. It kills Silverback Shaman, it kills Fire Elemental, it kills all the things smaller than that, and it's overall just a very efficient card that red decks are very interested in. The only other common that's actually like a good card like that I would be happy running really is Winged Words, which is not a card I'm going to be taking over Chandra's Outrage anytime soon. In the uncommon spot, there is an Empyrean Eagle, which is a very powerful card. I think this card is definitely better than Chandra's Outrage when you are in a white-blue deck versus Chandra's Outrage in a red deck, but it is a gold card, which means you kind of have to commit if you do want to play it. Temple of Epiphany is a card that I would play if I was a red deck or a blue deck, but it is overall not as powerful as Outrage or the Empyrean Eagle. I think it's actually a kind of close pick between the Eagle and the Outrage, but I think I will veer towards the card that is more flexible and take the Chandra's Outrage, because I could still go in any direction. Kind of immediate punish, because the best card in this pack I think is the Spectral Sailor and the Gravedigger probably. The commons are solid. Silverback Shaman is a good common. It's the best common in this pack. Reduced Ash is a fine red common, but it's not as good as Spectral Sailor or Gravedigger. And then Raise the Alarm is decent as well. But I think Spectral Sailor is definitely the pick out of this pack, followed by Gravedigger. I just think Spectral Sailor can get you so much value over the course of a game. It's very good in the blue Flyers decks. It's very good in any blue deck, the late game ramp decks, just mid-range decks, and overall I think it's definitely the pick out of this pack. And then I would take the Gravedigger second. Moving on to pick 3, I'm really wishing I'd had the Empyrean Eagle, because the best card in this pack would have been Shock. I mean, would have been Pacifism. I take that. However, in this case, I'm going to take the Shock. It is a nice little removal spell. It works well with the blue in a blue-red deck, and overall, I'm pretty happy with the way this draft is starting off. Just kind of interesting that if I had taken Eagle, I would have followed it up with Pacifism, but as it is, I'm going to end up with a Shock, and my draft just goes in a very cool direction. So I think Shock is the pick here. Just a very efficient removal spell, or good in the early game, and even sometimes relevant in the late game, killing Flyers and whatnot. And definitely the pick out of this pack. I think it's better than Lavakin Brawler, and I'm pretty happy to get it here. Moving on to pick 4. There is not a ton of cards that I'm super interested in. The Cerulean Drake is not a card that I'm super happy to main deck. Sure, it's fine against red decks, but it oftentimes is too small to be super relevant against every other deck, and even the red decks can sometimes just kill it with a Heartpiercer Bow or something. There is a Dagger Sail Aeronaut, but that's not a card that I like to prioritize. So I think here I might speculate on a card in a different color, or just go for that Heartpiercer Bow, take that one, and see if I can get a Renowned Weaponsmith a little bit later. I could also just take a Soul Salvage as a solid card, but I think getting a Heartpiercer Bow here is pretty solid. It tends to work decently well in the aggressive strategies. And now there's a Captivating Gyre. This is a card that I have not played at all, and I haven't really seen it played against me, but it definitely has a lot of potential if you can get a nice aggressive deck. I don't necessarily have that deck, so it might be better to take something like an Unsummon, or just another removal spell in the Reduced Ashes. And Reduced Ashes is actually a nice pick as well, because I'm then only still committed to one color. I could just move away from blue. So I think I am just going to take the Reduced Ashes over the Unsummon and over the Captivating Gyre, though Gyre definitely can do good work in the right deck. Okay, and now there is a Scampering Scorcher, keeping me in red. There's still not a real reason to commit to a second color. There is a Raise the Alarm and an Inspired Charge, but I think in this case it's better to just stick to my one color, and then I could still just play blue to pair with it. And now Goblin Smuggler, again, sticking to one color is super powerful, because now if I open a green bomb rare like a Gargos or something, or a black bomb rare, I can just move into that color, and I don't have to worry about not having enough playables. And now Scorch Spitter could be just a fine option if I do end up in a super aggressive red deck, and there's not really a ton of other good cards in this pack. And now I guess I'll take Greenwood Sentinel, hedge into green a tiny bit. I need 2 drops, and that could be a fine one. Late, reduced to ashes here, but I'll take it. And now there's another Heartpiercer Bow. We'll take that over Undead Servant. We'll start with it in the sideboard. I don't love main decking it if I don't have Renowned Weaponsmith, but sometimes you can get like a bunch of them and go to town. These cards are not super relevant. But let's see how pack 2 goes, what we open. And we still don't really open a card that makes us want to commit to a second color. Sure, there's a Raise the Alarm, and maybe we could wheel Inspired Charge, and we do have a Scampering Scorcher, so that is a consideration of potentially getting a go-wide deck. We could also take a Barkhide Troll, but we are going to be a heavy red deck, so I don't think we necessarily want to take a double green 2-drop. And then there's Winged Words, which goes with our Spectral Sailor a tiny bit. I think the best pick out of this pack is the Raise the Alarm, though. Red, White, Go Wide is definitely a deck that can do good work, and if we wheel the Inspired Charge, it could be very potent. Winged Words is also an interesting option. Red, Blue can sometimes have like a flyer sub-theme. Huh. Maybe I do just want to take the blue card. Yeah, I can kind of get behind that. It definitely could be good if I could wheel Dagger Sailor or not. And now we get a Rabid Bite, but I don't think green is super open. And I think we'd rather take either a Keldon Raid or just Uncaged Fury. Probably Uncaged Fury over Brineborn Cutthroat, though. Brineborn is a pretty solid option. Works well with the Spectral Sailor and the Shock and the Outrage. Yeah, I can get behind Brineborn Cutthroat. Seems like a solid pickup. And now, whoa, there's a Risen Reef, which we can't really play. Creeping Trailblazer, which again, we can't really play in this deck unless we moved into red-green, which I don't think we're doing at this point. There's a Lavacan Brawler, which is a good card. Jeez, this is a very interesting spot we're in here. We're not going to move into black for a Villas. You only really want this in like a blue-black control deck, I think. Trailblazer would be interesting, but we already now have 3 good blue cards. And Risen Reef is interesting, but again, we don't really have the tools to splash. I think Lavacan Brawler is just the best card and the best pick in this pack. And we did get the Renowned Weaponsmith, which makes my 2 Heartpiercer Bows quite good. So we will take this, put our 2 Heartpiercer Bows in, and that makes our deck significantly better. And now, kind of a close pick between the Embercat and the Bow. The fact that we already have 2 bows makes me less likely to want it, and Embercat into Lavacan Brawler is still a super good draw. We could have had 2 Creeping Trailblazers if we had gone that route, but I think we are going to be fine just taking the Embercat here and then seeing where it leads us. Destructive Digger is a fine option too, but I like this. Wow, 3rd Creeping Trailblazer, but we'll just take the Lavacan Brawler and be pretty happy with that. Only card in our colors. So it looks like green would have been relatively open this direction. We'll just take a Rage, I guess. It's the only card in our colors. Another Embercat, pretty hyped to get that. Not going to move in on Fairy Miscreants. Embercat into Lavacan Brawler is too good to pass up. And the Dagger Sail Aeronaut did wheel. We could still just play that as a fine 4-drop, though now that we have 2 Lavacan Brawlers, I'm less likely to want to do that. We'll just take the Goblin thing for fun, and because we're not going to be playing any of these. Goblin Bird Grabber, sure, sometimes we'll play that. Ooh, Heartpiercer Bow came back, nice. We have a nice little bow deck here with the Weaponsmith. And pack 3, there is not a card in our colors. That's kind of bad, but I guess we'll take a Fire Elemental. We can sometimes ramp that out, but probably not going to play that. And maybe we'll just Rare Draft. Yeah, let's just Rare Draft, build our collection up a little bit. And we'll get a nice little Shock here. Hopefully wheel the Heartpiercer Bow. There's not really any other options in that pack. Pack Mastiff is a fine 2-drop. We need more 2-drops. We only have, I guess we have 5, but you can always use more 2-drops, and this one is quite good. There's another Winged Words. I like just getting another creature here. And now Swiftwater Cliffs to help with our mana. There's another Fairy Miscreant, but we're not really going for that deck. We already kind of have the ship sailed on that, and getting a nice little land here works out really well for us. Pattern Match is another option, because you can get a second Lavacan Brawler, we could get a second Embercat, but I really like just getting the Cliffs here, because we do have a lot of double red cards and cheap red cards, but we also want to make sure we have enough blue sources, so Swiftwater Cliffs can do good work. So now it's interesting. Brineborn Cutthroat number 2 is a interesting pickup, potentially, because we do have 2 copies of Shock, one copy of Outrage, a Spectral Sailor, a second Brineborn Cutthroat. So it could just do really good work. There's also another Swiftwater Cliffs, but I like getting another Brineborn Cutthroat here, I think, over Metropolis Sprite, too. I think we have enough synergy to make it worth it, potentially. I guess we'll take Sageros Innocent. I'm not sure on that pick, though. Metropolis Sprite could just be correct. And we will pick up a, maybe Negate. Probably just another, yeah, let's just pick up Negate. Maybe we'll want that. It does work with Brineborn pretty well. Goblin Smuggler, an easy pickup. Goes with our Lavacan Brawler super well. Fire Elemental did wheel, as I expected. Heart Piercer Bow came back as well, nice. There's a Befuddle, which will definitely play with 2 Cutthroats. We'll probably play 2 Befuddles even. Just works pretty decently in our deck and our strategy. Okay, so let's see what we want to do here with our build. Not really super excited to play any of those sideboard cards. We could consider Negate, just because it does have synergy with Brineborn and does decent work. So let's put the Negate in for now. We're not really a Scorch Spitter deck, and we're not really a Bird Grabber deck. Not going to play Aeronaut. Huh. So we do need to make some cuts here. I think a lot of our flex slots are given over to the bows, probably. So we probably do want to cut some of these cards. So we can cut the Negate. Cut the Keldon Raider. And cut 1 Befuddle. This seems decent to me. I like the color distribution. And all we have left to do now is choose our basic lands, of course. It is a critical part of a successful strategy. It's funny because I really like this land art because it looks cool as well, but I really like this island art as well. It's like my favorite art. So I might actually just go with this island because it's currently my favorite island. And then I really like that mountain because it's just a very pure, simple mountain, but it looks super cool. So let's just go with those two. Always important to choose your basic lands. It just puts you in a good mood a lot of the time. And that is going to be our deck. Let us choose our Renowned Weaponsmith because we are at our core a Heart Piercer Bow deck. And let's see how it goes. I think it's really cool how this draft shaped up. I think that first picking the Chandra's Outrage really did work out. Would have been interesting to see how the first pick Empyrean Eagle worked as well, but I think Heart Piercer Bow is a pretty solid option. Okie doke. Very easy, straightforward keep here. We have our colors. Pretty much all 4 or 3 land hands, with the rest being spells, our keeps. Man, choosing these lands really does put me in a good mood, so I'm very happy I did so. They definitely look excellent. I wish that you could choose the color of your cat as a default. Our opponent is not using a cat. They are too good for it, clearly. I like the blue cat the best, though they're all pretty good and they all have their place. Okay, just going to start with the Swiftwater Cliffs. Land was not an ideal draw there, but again, when it's such beautiful artwork, it's hard not to be okay with any draw. So we are just going to play our Pack Mastiff and pass the turn. And next up, Goblin Smuggler. Opponent does have a Frost Lynx. Let's just play Goblin Smuggler and then pass the turn, because Goblin Smuggler is going to do a lot of good work with our Lavacan Brawler and maybe even our Pack Mastiff a little bit later. And if we draw a second bow, we can kill the Frost Lynx anyway. Definitely not attacking, not blocking here. Goblin Smuggler is a fine, just a good card, and you don't want to risk that type of thing. Okay, Reduced Ashes will be able to kill the Wave Crasher. Go to attacks, attack. Play Lavacan Brawler. The opponent will Frost Lynx it, but we can then reduce to ashes this guy. And again, when we draw our second bow, which is going to happen eventually, we can kind of kill the Frost Lynx for free, and then we can combine Heart Piercer Bow plus Shock to take down something bigger. No blocks. Oh, Thicket Crasher. Well, in that case, we will get the first bow down. I think this is going to be a solid use of our mana. Put the bow on the guy that's going to be attacking pretty much every turn. And now my opponent has to be afraid of me just drawing a second bow, because before I wasn't going to be able to equip both bows in the same turn. But now I will be able to, and Goblin Smuggler means that they won't even be able to block. I think my best bet is likely going to be to reduce the Ashes the Wave Crasher, just so I'm not under any pressure until I can draw my second bow. Oh. So let's Winged Words. Play a land. I like getting down the Weaponsmith here. But first I will attack. And now my opponent has to be a little bit afraid of me just tutoring up a bow. Okay, Risen Reef does not look super good against bow. But that's why they were saving their Frostlinks, probably. So if I draw a land, I might just tutor up a bow, reduce to Ashes the Wave Crasher. Unblockable, kill Risen Reef. If I ever draw Scampering Scorcher, my opponent is basically dead. They're almost undoubtedly going to get their Lavacan Brawler going, so I'm just going to have to assume I tutor up, spend 1 mana to equip here, attack, kill Risen Reef. Alternately, instead of tutoring up, I could just spend 5 mana, kill this thing, and then I get some nice attacks in. Oh, that's a nice, interesting play from the opponent. It's not going to work out for them very well, because we're just going to be able to reduce to Ashes Wave Crasher here. And then we can shock the Frostlinks. I think that is ideal. And now my opponent is basically dead. Because this thing can be unblockable, this thing can be unblockable. Sure, they can get me to 7. But they see the writing on the wall, and that is a quick victory for our awesome artwork deck. And let's get on to round 2. I think our deck is very good here. The bow package is something that a lot of decks run incorrectly, I think. You essentially, I think, want to have a Weaponsmith to run the bow package, or else you're going to just draw a lot of bows, or you'll draw like 1 bow without really a way to get a second bow. But drawing an early Weaponsmith can just be a win condition all of itself. This is a fantastic hand. This is why Chandra's Embercat is a high priority pick, because Embercat into Lavacan Brawler is super good. And then into the Befuddle is also going to be pretty difficult for my opponent to stop, I would imagine. Or into Bow Ping. Okay, Lightning Stormkin. That's fine. We can definitely race that fairly effectively here. Next turn, we're going to be hitting them for 4. We also have a Befuddle to make it difficult for them to double block if that is something they would like to go for. We're probably going to Divination. We won't reveal what we draw by playing a land first. Okay, drawing 2 lands is actually solid there. Okay, that's okay for me. They do get to kill my Embercat, but it did its work, and I'm glad they just didn't have Convolute or something. This turn I will get to either reduce to ashes a threat that they play, or I can play a Heartpiercer Bow. As it is, I guess I will get to use my Befuddle and play my Bow. I'll either use Befuddle on defense or on offense. I think they'll probably want to trade here, though. But no block is a solid option from them as well. And let's just reduce to ashes it. Get it off the board. Hopefully my Befuddle can be useful on the following turn. Blue and red do not tend to be colors that are filled with massive creatures. And my Bow is going to do good work here. Perfect. So we will Bow, equip, kill this guy. This is where Bow really thrives. Now that it's gotten a 1-for-1, it's just basically all upside. And we are in good shape here. We can get a second Bow, kill the Stormkin. We have a Befuddle to protect our guy. We don't actually mind drawing a Bow, so we're not going to use the Weaponsmith here. We are going to equip the third Bow so that we can ping the Boreal Elemental. And now they cannot block. And we have built our engine, we have assembled our combo, and now we just have to make sure we don't run out of creatures, because that's the real big downside. And now we will put an upkeep stop if they do tap out. If they don't tap out, we might want to just equip. Oh, that's a terrifying prospect. So they get to kill my Weaponsmith. Nice little piece of tech there. And I take 7, so I go to 3. I wonder if they'll have a way to sacrifice it. Okay, so I'm not dead. And we ripped it perfectly. 100% planned. We are dead to a removal spell now. We were close, but no cigar. I think going for it is the correct play, but unfortunately we came up just short. Yeah, there was some option where we just try to shrink the Boreal Elemental. But since we can't cast Scampering Scorcher and do that in the same turn, I think that that was a fine play. It just didn't happen to work out. Our opponent had a answer. The act of treason was actually super good for them. Facing down Spore Frog. This is an excellent hand as well. Get our Ember Cat going into Smuggler. Ooh, excellent choice. Just play the Smuggler. Attack with everything. And now we have Shock plus Bow to take down Sorcerer, or hopefully take down something even a little bit scarier than Sorcerer. I messed this up. What you're supposed to do is attack, get the ping in before you use the shock. But what I did was very bad. So now if he has shock, I just lose the game. Which I accept. That was a bad play. Luckily, we don't seem to be getting punished right now. But that was definitely a very bad play and one that you should avoid. So I'm glad that I did it so you don't have to do it. But yeah, that was bad. I don't tend to play the bow decks all that often, but I think that that is pretty clearly not how it's supposed to go. I'm pretty fine trading this off with a Goblin Smuggler even. Equip up the Lavakin Brawler. We have them on a 4-turn clock. We could have ambushed it, but I think it's safer to do this because Yarok's Fenlurker is a card in the format. And when that card is in play, you don't really want to sandbag a card like a bow. We also have Winged Words, so we don't want to be unable to cast our spells if we're using our card draw. Now I'm afraid of life gain. There's no removal spell for 2 mana that can kill a Lavakin. This is not a elemental, so we don't have to worry about that. Opponent's probably blanked out of playing a lot of their potential cards, which is really good for us. They're probably going to attack us with Bloodthirsty Aerialist, and then on their end step we can flash in Brineborn Cutthroat, which will then enable us to attack with that double ping Epicure of Blood. Regardless, just having another 2-powered creature that Goblin Smuggler can give unblockable to is a nice addition to the team. Sure. So we can kill the zombie. Again, we just want to cast this because if we do draw winged words, we want to be able to use it immediately. In comes the Cutthroat. Unblockable. We have them on a 1-turn clock here. Ping. Ping. Play our land. You can't be too proud to play your lands. Because if you, again, I keep saying it, but card draw spells make you always play your lands out. Because you want to be able to go like Winged Words land 5-drop here. Which, if I hold a land, then I only have 6 lands in play, and I can't do that. I only have like 1 5-drop in this deck, I think. If that. I forget what exactly. Or like 3-drop, 2-drop. Just, you need to be able to make those plays. Opponent attacks with everything. 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. No blocks. Gravedigger for Sorcerer of the Fang or Bloodthirsty Aerialist. They just probably hope I misclick. Or they have a murder. Yep. We'll hit him with the good game. And that'll be it. Up to 2-1. Nice to get another W. Back onto the platinum grind. Okie doke. I think our deck is significantly better than most decks will be in this format. And we have 4 bows and a weaponsmith, which is a nice package, and we also have 2 Chandra's Embercat, 2 Lavakin Brawler, which is another nice little package to have, and gives you a lot of power. Like if you play that 2-drop into essentially 3-drop because of the mana tapping ability, then you end up in a very good position to potentially just win the game before your opponent can even recover, which is very potent and something that you need to keep in mind. It's a nice little pocket of synergy. Looks like our opponents in the queue are too afraid to face us, which is understandable because I would be afraid to face this deck myself, even though show no fear is a kind of a motto of mine in a way. Actually, that's not true at all, but it sounded good when I said it. Bolo Brains. Yikes. And they're using Angrath. We win the die roll. We have a solid enough hand. We don't have blue mana, but most of our deck is red. We have 1 bow. This is an interesting hand. I don't know. I think it is a keep. But it's definitely a clunker. 3 lands, 4 spells is almost always a keep. Same with 4 lands, 3 spells. Even though we can't like cast our Winged Words, we can cast a Heartpiercer Bow on turn 2, which is not the worst. It can be really good against certain decks. Opponent giving me information on their turn. I get to know what color they're playing, at least one of them, before I make my second play. Okay, and we hit Island, which is perfect. Definitely going to just jam Bow here. Even though it might change their plays, we aren't going to have a good opportunity to cast it. And we want to be able to play Winged Words on our next turn, and then Lavakin Brawler. This could be a great matchup for our Heartpiercer Bow deck. There's a second bow. Unfortunately, the downside with this particular start is it looks like we're going to be short on creatures. And that's really something you don't want when you have bow. Okay. Opponent is playing Abzan. Okay, that is the perfect response to our no bow problem. To our too many. Yeah, that's part of the reason Scampering Scorcher is so good in our deck, is because you can just put the tokens with a little pizzazz and really get your opponent. Okay. Them attacking would be very good for me. So here we're going to make a very cool play where we're going to play our Scampering Scorcher, equip our Lavakin Brawler, and then they'll have to maybe double block. Because we're just going to shoot the Master Splicer, which will make this a 3/3, this a 2/2. So if they double block, then we kill both. And it's just a very efficient play for us mana-wise, and it also puts them in a spot where they're going to have no creatures on board, and we're going to have unlimited creatures, and we're just going to be able to kind of crush them with our double bow. And we have reduced to ashes for if they have anything bigger. And Pack Mastiff is going to start hitting very hard. Like if they play Silverback Shaman here, we just get to reduce to ashes it. But if they play a couple smaller creatures, we get to kind of just bow them. Gift of Paradise. That's fine for us. That is a 4/4. We are fairly happy to be able to exile that. So we will just do that. Equip. And get them a little bit. Exile Embodiment is also really good because it's a prime Pulsa Marasa or Soul Salvage target later in the game because it'll just be so huge. But being able to get rid of that permanently is quite powerful. Our Lavacan Brawler trading is okay for us. And here, because we have an extra land to hold in hand, we are not going to play our bow because we want to incentivize our opponent to play a creature that dies to double bow, because a lot of the time they won't expect a double bow, or they won't be able to play around double bow. Okay, they have a Vial, which they are going to use to kill our Pack Mastiff. Understandable for sure. And we already cast our Winged Word, so holding a land becomes much more appealing in that situation. Here we can even hold 2 lands to play around Mind Rot, because we don't have any other good mana sinks here. We have to kind of hope that they don't have anything going on. Ferocious Pup is probably the best possible outcome for us here. Double bow, ping, ping. And Shock is actually really good because we can now take down a bigger threat. Opponent does not chump, means they maybe have Bone Splinters. Because otherwise it's just going to die for free next turn, so why not use it to save a point of damage. But Bone Splintering a Scampering Scorcher does not sound like a winning proposition. Shocking a Ferocious Pup might not seem very good, but it stops them from getting another 2/2, and a 2/3 actually can stop me, kind of. I don't know if that's correct, but it seems relatively correct, at least, because a 2/3 is a little bit tricky to deal with. Kind of shuts down my attacks. And on to the next round. Again, this deck is just very good. We didn't even draw our Weaponsmith there, just drawing 2 bows. If you have 4 in your deck, you're relatively likely to get 2, and then killing any 2 toughness creature kind of for free is really very good. And we did sandbag it for a tiny bit just to make it more likely our opponent played into it. Because if we hadn't sandbagged it, they might have just waited on their Ferocious Pup. And then they go Ferocious Pup plus Wolfkin Bond in the same turn. This is another fantastic hand. Every hand we've had has been pretty magnificent. Obviously having awesome lands. The reason I like this land is because the blue is just so beautiful. Like the sky going into the water. I don't know. But yeah, these hands are really good. Embercat into 3-drop or into Outrage or Winged Words. Wow, my opponent's got a very mean username. Let's just pass as quickly as possible so they maybe don't suspect Shock. Definitely gonna just jam my Embercat. Brineborn Cutthroat does not match up well against Bow. Looks like kind of a Teamer Elementals build. They might have a second one, but we're just going to smuggler away. I don't think it's super likely. We may have two of them, but it is an uncommon, and not that likely that they have two of them. Okay, Lavacan Brawler definitely going to eat a Chandra's Outrage here. Lavacan Brawler is one of the premier targets for Chandra's Outrage. It does trade even on mana, but you do get that extra 2 damage to their face, and a lot of the time they kind of expect it to stabilize them, and when it doesn't, they can be in a bit of a pickle. Okay, so we're going to use Bow here. Shoot the Cutthroat, get it down to 9. If we do draw a second Bow, we can kill Lavacan Brawler combining with our Shock. I think we're in a pretty good spot here. Voracious Hydra. Sure, and then we can use our Shock to finish it off. We will draw 2. I think we're just going to play Pack Mastiff here. The Brineborn Cutthroat works really well when we can play it with the Shock. The Scampering Scorcher works well as like a little ambush tool. Overall, I think we're going to be in good shape if we can just Brineborn. We can go like Brineborn and Shock on the same like opponent's turn and kind of get them. They won't necessarily expect it. So here they get to hit us for 5, no blocks. Okay, that's a fine draw, so we can go. Now we can just go Scorcher plus Shock. We can Shock this, play Scorcher, hit them for 3. I think this is going to work out for the best. And then they'll get to hit us back for 4. We could have considered holding back a chump blocker even. But unless they have a Scampering Scorcher of their own, we're going to be in a good spot here. Thicket Crasher, sure, chumping wouldn't have even worked. Rewarded, you could say. Okay, so we can do this. Play Goblin Smuggler. Give this guy unblockable. Yeah, next turn they're dead. So they'll have to attack us with everything, kind of. Sure. We're just going to try and block with everything except Pack Mastiff. They have one card in hand. Sure. So they have 3 blockers. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 attackers. So they can only block 3 of them. So if they go block, 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 they do not die. But this is trading no matter what. So if I ping this, say, they will... Let's just attack with this. If we can trade it for Lavacan Brawler or Thicket Crasher even, we're going to be fine. Oh goodness, this is a really good trade for us. Lavacan Brawler down. Okay. Because now when we attack, we can ping this. So if they whiff... Okay, so they hit a card. They hit a creature. They go block, 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 block. Yeah, we do not have lethal. Okay, we're going to play around sorcery speed removal here. We don't really have any 1-drops to speak of. We have a shock, but we already used them both. So we're just going to flash this into end of turn. Get our Brineborn a little bit bigger by waiting. No. Okay, okay. I thought it was Risen Reef, and I was like, you gotta be kidding me. But it's not. So they now have pseudo-vigilance on some of their guys. We definitely had a sick rip here. Making Brineborn bigger is actually super relevant. Because now if we draw a bow, we can equip we can put 2 bows on this, kill this thing off. And just drawing extra cards is fantastic. Okie doke. Play this. They might just be dead on board. Equip Brineborn. So if we ping this with both, they have 1, 2, 3 blockers. They can go block, 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 and they take 1, 2, 3, 4. And they're dead. Because they can go block, block, block. Boom. Got the job done. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Let's try to get to Platinum 3, shall we? We just need 2 more wins to get to Plat 3. Easy game. Magic is so easy when you have a great deck. That's why I like Draft, is because you can get such a huge advantage just through drafting a good deck. And that's one of those things that you don't get by playing Constructed. Because in Constructed, everyone's going to have a good deck if they're at like a big tournament or something. Like, you're not going to be playing people that are just playing complete jank. They're going to have looked up a deck online. They'll have practice with the deck. They'll know how to sideboard generally. And that's the type of thing where you can still get an edge. You can still be better at sideboarding. You can still know the matchups better. But there's a lot of like matchup dependency a lot of the time as well. Okay, we're going to keep this hand. It's kind of cool. Brineborn Cutthroat with shock to get it bigger. I don't know. But yeah, in draft, you just have a huge edge you can gain just by having a better deck. Like if my deck is a 7 out of 10 and yours is a 5 out of 10, I have a huge advantage over you. And it's like not even like it's like oftentimes like relatively simple to just get that advantage. You just have to know what you're doing in the format. Hopefully they play a 1 toughness creature here. Oh, hello, Bo. Oh, opponent, you're showing off. You're changing the color of your guy. I think we're going to play Brineborn Cutthroat on end step just so we have more creatures. And we can also shock whatever they play. Okay, that's bad for us. I'll just up and say it. That's really bad for us. Huh. Yeah, we kind of can't do much about that. We're just going to look for lands now. Yikes. So we did essentially wasted our turn because we couldn't even, like, gang kill that with a shock and stuff. Oh, God.
With the arcbow at my side, I can't lose a fight.
At least we can take out the Vivian. If we draw a land. Could you just give me a land deck? We can still kill Vivian, but now it's like super bad. Gosh.
Lucky for me, I like a fight.
Yeah, we whiffed on lands here, which was really an unacceptable outcome if we wanted to win. Also, Vivian's really good, but Brontodon into Vivian is even scarier. I don't know. If we had played our bow, we still needed to hit a land to go bow, equip, attack, double ping Brontodon. There's the land. Gosh. Our out is reduced ashes plus bow to kill that. Sure. I guess we'll trade. Oh, this is so awkward. Step 1 assembled. Okay, so we have now got our new plan. Brineborn, flash this, shock. And they still get to take down a bow on the way out. I'm not too optimistic about my chances here. Go, Brineborn! Be the hero you were meant to be! Yes! It worked! The plan! Always follow the plan. Yes! Oh! Oh! going to equip these 2 bows. Make a mana efficient play. If our opponent has Flash Wolf, we just lose, but you know, we were going to lose to Flash Wolf anyway. Yes! Oh, yes! And if they play a 3 toughness creature, we can just shoot it. Oh, the comeback kid. I thought we were so dead. But Brineborn Cutthroat becoming a 4/3 at instant speed. So good. Anything can kill our Spectral Sailor, but Spectral Sailor can also kill anything. Oh, man, what does opponent have? They have nothing! Life is so good! Just gonna play the bow. They can't play anything into my double bow! Too many bows! Oh my gosh, the comeback! Nice. Oh, they're flooding out terribly! Oh, and we get to start drawing extra cards. Nice. Oh my gosh. Let's go! We have double reduce, so we can kill like basically anything they play now. Oh my gosh, that's such a comeback. I did not think that was going to work. Oh my goodness. Hello, second bow. You're looking quite good right now. Right about now. Yes! Oh, we've almost got this. Let's just draw, see what we hit. Play a Embercat. Play a land and end the turn. Did we get there? Oh my gosh, we just beat that 5/6 Brontodon. Boom! Get wrecked! I never doubted it for a second, except the entire early game where I was questioning my life choices. Oh my goodness, that was so sick. 20 gems. Nice. One more win to get into Plat 3. No big deal, just Platinum 3, you know. Same old, same old. Basically, to rank up, you just have to play a lot. But I don't play a lot, I just have a good win rate instead. I mean, both helps, obviously. You have to have a positive or even win rate to level up, pretty much. Like, if you play enough and you have a 50% win rate, you'll level up because after leveling up, if you lose immediately, then you don't go right back down. So you can eventually just climb enough. But I have probably, like, I have over 60%, over, like, 65% win rate in course of 2020 drafts. And then I just don't have to do as many drafts to level up. I don't know. There's like some math equation, I'm sure, on how many wins it would take me to get to Mythic. I would have to do. I don't know. It depends on the deck too. I usually end up with a pretty good deck though. Okay, Tractorage. Well, let's just get this W against Tractorage so we can get back to our. Oh gosh, this hand is so good. We'll keep it. We're actually going to lead with Island to disguise our Shock, because a savvy opponent will know that we have Shock based on the fact that it lets us pause. Because there's no 1-drop that we're shocking here. Yeah, like that one dies to our bow, so there's no way we're ever shocking it. And even if they draw an extra card here, like, sure, that's fine, but we get to bow it, so it's all good. La da dee, da da da. So we're just getting all this free value. We'll mop them up. Oh man. And we can even shock plus bow to kill a 3 toughness guy. Hopefully we draw a land so we can maybe smuggle. Die, Fairy Miscreant. And now we can take down a 4 toughness threat. Shock plus Heart Piercer Bow is a nice little combo. Makes Shock really potent. Okay, that's not good. We need to draw creatures. We need our creatures. We can just double shock their face, too. That is an option. I hope they don't have another removal spell. That is where the bow deck struggles, is when they have a lot of removal, and you just don't draw any creatures. Because any creature we draw is going to be really potent. Where are they going to scry? One top, one bottom. That seems fine to me. No! Okay, never mind. We get this value, but it was still so dumb because we didn't really want to have to do that. Rats. That was... I forget that you have to put a stupid, like, stop. Because normally you can attack, ping, and then shock, which is just the correct ordering. Okay, you mill me for 2. Good job, opponent. Go, Pack Mastiff! Fly! Be free! So they're now at 9. So one more hit, and we can almost just shock them out of the game. No, they have the removal. Oh, this is where things get dicey. We'll take 1. Good job, Auto Tapper. No! Oh, the classic bow scenario. You draw all your bows and no creatures. Oh, gosh. Darn it. Oh man, we really need Scampering Scorcher right about now. We're going to shock the Metropolis Sprite. If the game goes long enough, we're going to draw creatures, and they're not going to have as much removal as we have creatures. Gosh darn it. We're just going to play it. It doesn't really affect anything. This is so unfortunate. We drew 2 creatures all game, and they were in our opening hand, I think. No, we had 1 creature in opening hand. Oh. Well, that's game. Can we even win? If we draw Scampering Scorcher right this turn, we might have a chance. Or a Goblin Smuggler. But that would take a very good spot. Okay, so we need Goblin Smuggler. And we cannot find it. Yeah, I mean, any deck is going to struggle when it draws 8 lands and 1, 2. I guess we drew a lot of spells. We drew all of our bows. We're still not quite dead, but we're just mostly dead. Opponent's probably feeling great, but we have like at least 15 creatures in our deck, I think. Oh yeah, good job, opponent. You beat the your Golos. I don't know. I'm still a little bit disappointed in this loss. Our deck could definitely have won this game if we had just drawn like 2 creatures. Like, we don't need all 4 bows, but that is what happens when you put bow in your deck. We have pretty high creature density though. Now we have 2 creatures. Rough luck. Sad day. That was really unfortunate. We needed to get all of our creatures before that. Like if we'd drawn Spectral Sailor early in the game, or really any creature, because they couldn't establish any sort of defense with double shock in our hand and 4 bows or 3 bows or even 2 bows. Unlucky. Definitely keeping this hand. On the draw, we have a shock for some early defense. Then we got all that we need. Opponent's on a mold of 5. That's what I'm talking about. We get unlucky last game, but we get very lucky this game with our opponent mulliganing. Hello. Well, that's a good target for shock. Hopefully they don't have Risen Reef. Oh, gosh. I have a feeling that we're never going to draw our 4th land, and then we're just going to lose to them Risen Reefing us. And it's going to be super painful. Like, we're just going to be withdrawing to try and use a Chandra's Outrage on a Risen Reef. And they're just going to play, like, infinite value. Oh, yeah. We're totally dead. There's no way we hit our 4th land here. I am very unoptimistic and sad. Gosh darn it. This is the saddest I am ever. Oh my gosh. If they have Unsummon, I'm going to cry. I'm actually going to cry. We hit a we didn't hit a land as I expected. But we did. Oh, they have an Unsummon. No! Oh, why? Humanity, why? Couldn't I just draw a land once in my life? Oh my god, this is so stupid. This is so dumb. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh gosh. All I needed was a land in 3 or 4 draw steps. Ugh. It's so sad. This is the story of how you lose with a good deck. There's the land right on time. My opponent proceeds to have 9 lands in play. What the heck? That was the best mulligan to 5 I have ever seen, and I still would have crushed it if I had hit 1 more land. Oh my gosh. They play Vorst Claw with 3 mana up. And I just hit my 4th land. That is incredibly dumb. I feel like we had to get so unlucky to lose this game. Chandra's like disgusting with Risen Reef. Wow, I'm being mocked. That was so wrong. I guess I was too confident, and the magic gods were like, hey, you thought you had a good deck, so you must be punished. I don't know. That was really sad. That was like the saddest I could possibly be. Well, if you did make it all the way till the end of the video, type hashtag variance in the comment section down below, or hashtag epic multi5 to let me know you made it all the way to the end of the video. Remember that if you did enjoy it, you can show your support by hitting that thumbs up button, subscribing to the channel to join our community, leaving a comment in the comment section down below. And if you are going to be buying cards or packs or booster boxes, be sure to use the link in the description and also in the comments to help me out. If you would like to give back to the channel directly, you can do so by joining joining our Patreon, patreon.com/NicolaiBolas. I do truly appreciate everyone who supports the channel over on Patreon. Another way you can support the channel is if you have Amazon Prime or Twitch Prime. Amazon Prime can become Twitch Prime if you link the two accounts. It does come with a subscription to a streamer of your choice each month, and even though I don't stream a ton, you can still use that to support the channel. So just head on over to my Twitch stream, twitch.tv/NicolaiBolas, and you can redeem a free Twitch Prime subscription to my channel, which is just a way you can give back to support my YouTube content, even if you don't watch stuff on Twitch. So if you have Amazon Prime, that's a great way to support the channel, but also Patreon, and thank you so much to everyone that does support the channel over on Patreon. It really does help me out a ton. Thanks for that, and I hope you did enjoy the video, and I'll talk to you guys next time.